Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Drag Race RuCap here on Reality TV RHAP Ups. I'm your host, Liana Boris. We are here to talk about episode 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race season 14. Let us not waste any time because we have, I think, the most outfits ever on the runway in one episode to discuss. So, without further ado, let me welcome in our wonderful panel for you today. First, Amon Adwin. Amon, how are you?
Horrible. My freaking draft team is destroyed. Okay, just like not only did I get one of my girls sent home, but another one of my girls is in the bottom 2 with her. So this is such trash. Ugh.
That's how I felt last week.
Yeah, so we'll definitely do a draft update, but I think, Amon, you lost officially the first person from the draft.
Yes.
Now that we had the queens come back, all the dust, or I guess the chocolate dust has settled. No golden ticket for June Jambalaya, but we will get into all of that, including all of the twists. But first, our final panelist, Beth Dixon. Beth, how are you?
I'm feeling much better than I did last week because my girl got brought back and then they did okay. So I'm fine with it. I'm sorry, Ahmad. It was a necessary thing for me to feel okay.
Rigor Morris.
Yeah, Amon's feeling like cornbread and Untucked. Like, well, look, I'm not exactly happy that they brought you back, but here we are. All right. So this episode, we have a lot to get into. We had the 2 queens who were eliminated in the split premiere come back into the game. We had the chocolate bar / BB-18 return trip ticket twist to talk about. And we had a pair of balls in this episode. And of course, like I mentioned, our first eliminated contestant. So Amon, what did you think overall of where do we start? There's so much to talk about. What do you want to talk about first?
Yeah, the queen's coming back. I mean, we sort of got like little inklings, and so many people have been telling us, hey, there was 14 bars of chocolate on that thing. So it looks like Orion and Betty will be coming back. You guys are right. So back to 14 queens in one episode. It's been a while since we've had something like that. Just, all of them together. And I think that the chocolate twist, I was watching the episode with a friend of mine, and he is like, yeah, this is definitely just going to be some rigged stuff. They're just going to choose whatever queen they want to save and give her the chocolate bar. And I'm like, I kind of want to believe that's not true. Like, yes, we know that Drag Race has some questionable things that happen at sometimes very predictable. But I mean, I feel like we saw them give them the chocolate. They all signed them off. They signed them out. And I would hope that would be it. I would hope that like there isn't a producer that's like witching the chocolate bars for them,
I thought it was like so weird that they're like, yes, you're going to sign the piece of paper, not the chocolate bar, which would be more legitimate. Like, especially because it doesn't seem like it's the chocolate bar where like, how like Hershey's has like a sleeve that you could totally interchange with like another Hershey bar. I thought that they were going to have people who'd like, it's unwrapped. It doesn't have a sleeve, like sign the actual chocolate bar. And then we know, but no, they signed a piece of paper.
Okay, wait, did they sign them? Okay, I'm trying to pull it up now. So, because I remember like Maddie tried to sign the chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Right? But then was told to sign the piece of paper, or you just
had to... and that's why I thought it was weird. I was like, wouldn't you want them to sign the chocolate bar?
Yeah, but okay, so to be 100% though, they could still swap it out regardless of how it's packaged. 100%. There's ways to swap it out where it's probably easier than others. Like if it's the packaging where there's sort of just like a rectangle and you can just slide something in and out.
Yeah,
that like
the sleeve
rectangle
thing that I was talking about.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
What I thought.
The sleeve thing.
Like, but it didn't look like that when June opened up her candy bar. It looked like the whole wrapper was just wrapped around the chocolate.
Okay, so yeah, like a Hershey's bar where you have the wrapping, there's no sort of like box.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay. Here's the problem. I think because I am so prepared for it to be the conspiracy theory where it's going to be rigged, it's going to have to be like a queen who totally doesn't deserve to stay that gets no edit that comes back for me to be convinced.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is that if it is any one of the people, but then it's like, it's this weird cycle because they probably want to give an edit to the queen that is going to come back because it is like such a monumental moment. So that it's like, okay,
Mhm.
well, is Georges getting this super positive edit because they like she's going to go far and they genuinely like her, or like is this a situation where she's going to get brought back, so they need to make it seem like it? Well, I don't know. It's like my brain just starts to explode when I start to go through all the different possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that more than likely, unfortunately, we're probably going to get someone that's been doing very, very well, and they have a really bad week one time, and then the chocolate bar just comes in to save their ass. I'm like, I feel like the queen that has it would know that they have it, because the way that RuPaul is describing it, I think the actual bar of
It's
chocolate
chocolate.
is
Or
gold,
gold, yeah.
like as opposed to like a golden ticket, like Charlie Bucket
Mm.
style.
Mhm.
So I feel like chocolate is much lighter than gold, but I guess we'll see. Maybe they just put food coloring in the chocolate to make it like a yellow bar of chocolate.
Well,
I don't
there
know,
is
but
that
Like a
edible
gold
gold,
leaf.
so I thought it was going to be like,
like
kind of
like
like
edible gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it still weighs
Yeah.
the same. It's still chocolate, but then it's just like a super light enough layer. I mean, the other thing too is like, RuPaul said, okay, hold on to your bars. Are they really going to hold on to them? I mean, obviously they can't lip sync with them. So when they were lip syncing, I'm sure they were like, okay, give us your chocolate bars. Swap, 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 swap. Okay.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Yeah,
no,
because
I
that
don't know.
stuff would be so melted. You're
Yeah, it
inside
is
a
too
drag
cumbersome to be
queen.
carrying around. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
there's
Yeah.
no way. That's why I feel like there's so much room for rigor mortis to happen that I'm just like, I'm just expecting this is going to be like, oh, the front runner or the one that Rue really likes, even if the audience doesn't, like, is going to get this redemption.
Mhm.
Or I could see someone like Diabetti or Diabetical, as Cornbread
diabetical.
calls her. I could see someone like her, because she's getting a lot of confessionals. And I see someone like that who already has been eliminated. She's coming back like a third time. Like, I see that being the kind of like
Yeah, I
thing
could
the
see that too.
producers are thinking.
The victor of RuPaul's Drag Race coming back
Yeah.
a third time in one
Just
season.
cannot get rid of her. I just can't kick my diabetes, bitch. It just keeps coming back.
Diabeticals keep coming back.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, my assumption is, okay, this is just going to replace the double save, right? That would happen
Right.
theoretically at some point during the
Yeah.
season. So yeah, okay, all right, sure. It's kind of fun to
We
have.
already had the double save, to be
extra.
fair.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The double
I
save.
just feel like I would feel much better about it if and this is just a critique on Drag Race in general, if the theme of the season was a little bit more cohesive. Like, I feel like we get the theme in the promo shots and in all of the Meet the Queens videos and the trailers and all of that for the season. Like, we saw them like walking along like the candy lane stuff, but during the episodes themselves, like, this candy theme doesn't really pan out, and
Right.
so it just feels a little disjointed that there's this chocolate bar twist, but there isn't chocolate anywhere else. Like, if there was like an element, like if all the mini challenges were like included candy somehow, then I would feel much better about this twist. But it kind of just
Yeah.
feels very disjointed at this point.
Honestly, I feel like that judgment is exactly what like Michelle Visage would have said about somebody's outfit. It's a little disjointed. I'm not really getting the theme of what you're trying. So
Yeah.
like, I
Too
love that.
busy.
Like, that's the feedback we're giving to the show, which is like, we're going to take things that your judges literally say about the queens
Right.
and apply it to the production.
Right. That's a really good point, because they're always talking about, we just don't know who you are. This was the
Bitch, we
challenge
don't
to
know
show
what
us
this theme
who
is.
you are.
You-
What are you
you
doing?
tell us.
Exactly. Y'all like Ryan Murphy over here. The season starts off one way and then it ends the next. Like, what is going on here? Like, can we please just have one straight through line? If it's going to be Candy Lane slot 1 in the beginning, then I want to see Candy Lane slot to the end. Like, just show me the whole game, okay? Or if it's 80s theme, if it's 80s arcade, then I want to see that stuff.
If
But
it's
no,
coffee enema themed, I
Oh my
want to
God.
know from the beginning, not just a random part in the third episode.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
this
Oh my
this
God.
isn't a defense of the show in any way, but they've never really done that. They've always had a promo that's like something, and then nothing really follows through with
nothing.
it, right? So
I
I'm
guess
not
this is what
surprised.
we're saying is like, we've had 14 plus seasons because of All Stars, 20 seasons of the show. And all we're
Mhm.
asking for is maybe a little bit of like reflection of like, what makes you
Cohesion.
special? Who are you? And like, how are you going to like portray that so that anybody can like turn on the TV and go, that's what this show is, you know?
They're
And
just tuning in.
I will say this, and I feel like I've talked about this on the show before. All Stars 4 promo, man. The Carol of the Queens, the Winter Takes All. I love that entire rollout of the fourth All Star season. It was so good. Oh, they all look so
That
good.
iridescent, like,
the iridescence.
looks
Oh,
so
Yeah.
good.
I was just that was like the one
Naomi
promo cycle that
Smalls.
got me so excited for the show. I loved it.
Maybe they should do like Big Brother, right? Where they redecorate the room, the workroom to match the season.
Yeah, that would be an easy thing to do because they're always
Yeah.
like throwing like new things in there anyway. Like, yeah, just make it like a candy lane or like an arcade.
Yeah.
Like that's easy,
Yeah, they're just cloth walls.
Even if it's RuPaul candy bars, like, which, by the way, has
Yeah.
anybody here had a RuPaul candy bar?
I have not had a RuPaul candy bar.
I
Have
had
you?
the peanut butter one, and it was actually pretty good.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I feel like you
was-
can't
yeah.
go wrong with chocolate. Like if you out here messing up chocolate, then you like that. I mean, you can't come back from that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I've had bad chocolate, but like, yeah. It takes a lot to screw it up.
I'm the type of person, I'm like eating chocolate, I'm like, I'm not a big fan of this, and then I just completely finish it.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I'm sorry.
not gonna go to
I'm
waste.
gonna
I'm
leave
like,
uneaten candy. Come on. Okay. Who am I? Let's be real here. All right. So, okay. Candy theme aside, the queens are coming back. I got the Willy Wonka of it all with the golden chocolate bar. Unfortunately, in this episode for June Jambalaya, it does not pan out. So we know that the golden chocolate bar is still in play or still in the producer's hand, waiting to be doled out to the queen that they think deserves it.
I don't know why, but I did find the moment where June went, "It's just chocolate," to be really funny.
yeah, that's gonna be another meme. It's gonna be
It's just chocolate.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
Oh man, just the way she said it, and I felt
It's like
so
the
bad.
new, somebody should combine Kennedy Davenport sending milk home with her saying it's just milk chocolate. That's all it is.
It's just milk chocolate.
Oh my God, I love that.
It was like the added physical drama of seeing June's hands like trembling as she's trying to open up because that they were like, all right, when you open this up, we want you to hold it right here and do all these different kinds of things, blah blah blah. And also, you are probably still gonna go home, so keep it together. And like the direction had to be so intense, and you're the first one to do it. And she's like, her hands were so trembling. I felt bad for her because I was like, oh, this is clearly a big pressure moment.
I'm just waiting on the one queen that gets sent home and she just eats it right there on stage. Like, oh, okay, well, and just takes a bite out of it.
I know. I actually thought the same thing. I was like, I would have taken a huge old bite. I would have been like, I took a bite out of the competition.
Maybe they
I
were
would have
told
been
not
insulted.
to.
Maybe because I probably would have insulted RuPaul at that point. I'd have been like, I would have taken a bite, and as I walked away, I'd have been like, "This is nasty, by the way." Just walked off the stage.
And Amon never gets invited back for All Stars, so we wonder why.
You will never be invited back for All Stars.
It could be like prop chocolate or something where they're not allowed to eat it. Because that's what I was thinking too.
That's the problem with me.
It would take a lot. We'll put that the spray that you spray on stuff to get your dog or your cat to stop like biting something. That's what we'll have to put on.
Do that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I used to have a really horrible nail biting habit, like all the way through into college. And my parents, when I was younger, would like put like hot sauce and such like on my fingers so that I wouldn't. And I just was like, this is awful. I just kept doing it. So it didn't really deter me.
The anxiety overwhelms the hot sauce. I feel that. Okay, what else? So we also have the meeting of the queens, where all of the groups come together for a short-lived celebration before, of course, then the other two queens are released back. It seems like there are some people who know each other. So like Deja and Cornbread know each other. Georges at least knows Alyssa from watching her videos. So that was, Jasmine being a huge fan of Kennedy, I think was the other one. So that was kind of nice to have them all reunited together. And we got a lot of workroom moments in this episode as well. Yeah. So it seems like overall this is going to be a good group, although there is a little bit of tension brewing from what seems to be happening in Untucked, but nothing has come necessary to fruition yet. So we'll have to wait on that. But I could see some drama coming down the pipes this season.
Yeah, I would appreciate a little bit of drama because one of my biggest issues for like seasons like season 12, even though everybody loves season 12,
Mhm.
it's just a little bit too kumbaya. So I would like to see a little bit more fire from these queens. And I
Yeah.
think I don't know if the queens sort of being more likely to know and recognize one another has anything to do with that. I sort of do miss the days, even though I wasn't watching live. I do sort of miss the days where lesser queens knew about each other, but now I'm like this day of social media, especially during quarantine, when the only
Yeah.
way to make money for some of these queens was to put themselves out there online. So they have amassed followings, and queens follow queens follow queens. So many of them just come into the competition already knowing what to expect from some of these queens. And I kind of wish that it wasn't like that, because I kind of want some of these queens to be surprised, but it is what it is.
I think that that's what's always so interesting too, right? Is that Drag Race has a way of simultaneously not showing a full picture of what drag is really like and like really putting it in a box, and at the
Yeah.
same time taking the things, the elements, the queens that come from like pageant backgrounds and such, putting them in boxes and then promptly setting them home in those boxes. Like it's a really
Yeah.
interesting dynamic. So like people who you're like, oh, she's going to be really strong because she's a pageant queen, like tell me when the last pageant queen really won. Besides,
Mhm.
like, what did Jada Essence Hall do pageants?
Yeah, she was a
Yeah, I
pageant
think
queen.
she did. Yeah.
Great. So like I just kind of sit back and I'm like, there's not too many pageant girls that actually take home the crown, right? These
Mhm.
people who you're like, oh, these, and like she was really underestimated in her season 2 by the other queens. So it's just one of those things. Is like the queens that the queens themselves think are going to do well normally do well, but they don't normally take home the crown. So I always think it's like a really interesting dynamic to see how does this all play out when they know each
Yeah.
other, and what are those
And
expectations for?
they talked about that actually in Untucked. I forget who said it, but they were like talking about cornbread, and they were like, "Yeah, as soon as I saw you walk in the workroom, I was like, you're going to be in Final Four." And
Yep.
I was like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
kind of wish that it wasn't like that. I kind of wish that there was a bit
Yeah.
more of just like mystery to it." But
I
Drag
do
Race. I
want
mean,
cornbread in the Final Four, though.
I mean, don't we all? I mean,
I mean,
I need it now. Shit.
Mhm.
uh,
I think it's one of those things that's just unfortunately with the leadership of the show, it's something that's kind of like inherently built in these dynamics and the way that the editing goes. But
Mhm.
I'm just happy that we get to know some of these queens, and I think a lot of that was highlighted with some of the more serious content in this
Mhm.
episode. So we got a lot of the personal stories from a lot of these different queens, and I think that this just kind of highlights where I really appreciate the opportunity to get to know the queens a little bit more. So I know there's some frustration about there was essentially 2 non-eliminations in a row, like that's really frustrating. There's going to be a non-elimination later, but you cannot capture all of one person. I mean, even in 2 hours, 3 hours of content, right? You just can't. But the added time allows for us to get to know a little bit more about these contestants. And one of them in particular, I definitely have an apology to issue because I remember during our
Same.
preview hearing Orion talk about drag and saying, "Oh, my mother is the reason that I'm here." And I remember thinking like, "Well, it sounds like your mom's the reason why, like you don't want to be here. Your mom's like, oh, okay." So we hear more
Yeah.
about her relationship with her mother and about how it was Drag Race was something they watched together and it was something that really bonded them. And unfortunately, Orion lost their mother. And so this is a way to really reconnect and to, make her mother proud and
Mhm.
and go through that emotional journey through the art of drag. And that was something that was really powerful that would not have even known at all whatsoever if Orion hadn't had the opportunity to come back.
Mhm.
Absolutely. That was I watched that the entire time I was sitting back and I was like, I believe that the three of us were sitting there being like, is your mom a stage mom? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, let's
Sorry.
eat those words, shall we?
Yeah, I got a big plate of crow. No dragonflies here, just crow for us.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
I mean, yeah, yeah. Once you get like the context, you're like, oh, okay, when we understand, but which we had no way of knowing during
Right.
the,
No.
especially since it's it's the draft and we're literally going off of first impressions and we have very little to go off of, so it can be easy. I guess it's just a reminder to just sometimes things are always a little bit more deeper than they seem,
Right.
and unfortunately in this case they are deeper in a very sad
Mhm.
way.
Mhm.
But I am glad that she got to share her story um and pursue making her mother proud even when they are and she's in beyond. But it's definitely made her a more rootable character, and yeah, I mean, if she ends up winning Drag Race, then congratulations, audience, you got a good one.
Well, that's, what's interesting is like we had kind of pegged her to be the first queen to go home, and she like technically kind of was. They brought her back and she gets bottom critiques again.
Yeah.
But I don't see her going home immediately. I really do feel like what ends up happening is she has almost like a Jocelyn Fox kind of like, you need to edit, you need to edit, you need to edit kind of edit. And then she
Mhm.
goes home middle of the pack. Like I can kind of see that for her now. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if
We
she
can,
like, especially if she does well in the next episode, then it's just kind of like, oh, okay, started from the bottom, now here.
yeah. I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to the looks, but I honestly felt like they were a little too hard on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
I think that there's a case for her to be safe. She could be bottom placing, but still safe. I think that there were queens that were safe that could have been in the bottom. So
Yeah.
I don't know if Orion really deserved the critiques that she got.
Especially because she went for a Fran Drescher inspired look, and that is the way to my heart. So
Yeah.
that in
I
It's
itself.
the Sheffield. Oh.
yeah, I also we'll talk about the looks, but I thought it's too busy. Like, I'm sorry, what?
It's
Are we,
animal print. You said it. I don't know, like
are we looking at the same outfit? Girl. Anyway,
Yeah.
so okay, yeah, so we got to hear more about Orion. Also Willow and Willow's. We got to hear a little bit more about some of the effects of Willow's kidney disease that she's dealing with, and saw some. It was so sweet to see her and Cornbread interact together. I was just like, oh,
it
this
was
is
really
really
cute.
sweet, really supportive
Mhm.
as well, which was nice to see.
And
Very supportive.
apparently Willow called Cornbread out about that whole situation because Cornbread came over and started pushing, I think, like a thread or something through the dress, and got her the warm
Cup.
water or
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
And Willow on Twitter said something along the lines of like, I didn't have the heart to tell you that you did it incorrectly. And Cornbread's like, you try to do something nice. And like had like this really cute exchange back and forth, but it was hysterical.
That's really adorable. That's
That's funny.
hilarious. And, I mean, and then Cornbread, of course, has her own story later where, of course, she becomes very emotional, talks about how she didn't feel safe when she was growing up because, any type of sort of feminine behavior, presenting behavior would be criticized by her family members, left home when she was in high school. Her family didn't even look for her.
Oh,
It
Yeah.
just breaks my heart. I mean, like having supportive, loving parents is like the one thing that every child deserves. And
Yeah.
it breaks my heart when someone has to go through an experience like that.
Oh, excuse me. I enjoyed watching this, and I didn't enjoy the fact that Cornbread sort of had like a bit of a triggering moment, but I did appreciate the fact that she walked out of the room because we do talk about a lot about how sometimes obviously the production wants these conversations to occur on the show. Sometimes it can come off a little bit too trauma porny. Sometimes it comes off a little bit inorganic. And this I feel like was a moment where she just felt like she didn't feel like breaking down in front of everybody, and that's completely okay. Like if you need to leave the room, then leave the room. And it also the juxtaposition of her sitting next to Carrie, because Carrie was also talking about her struggles being trans and struggles with her family, and she did not break down that way. And that this, it's just a reminder of how even though people have a certain level of comfortability with themselves now, they're still on two different paths, and things can still be very, very hard for others and easy to talk about for the next one. So I like the fact that she sort of just said, you know what, I don't really want to have like a big TV moment right now where I break down in front of everybody and you guys all come over and hug me. Let me just walk out the room, collect myself, and then come back. And then just, and she said it in the confessional. She was like, look, I talked about it. It was hard. The family sucks, but I'll talk to them when I get home. Right now, let me just focus on the competition. And that felt so much more real to me because it felt like she was still trying, like she wanted to share something of herself, but she was also like, all right, I'm done with that. Let's go. So
And
I
I
enjoyed that.
also applaud the way that Carrie and Angeria handled that too, which was you had that moment where they kind of talk, should I go after her? No, let her have her moment and collect herself and that kind of thing. When she comes back, we could just let her know that she's loved. And that I really appreciate that intentionality of like figuring out what's the best way to support somebody who is having a moment or going through something. Because sometimes people just need that moment to collect themselves. And when you are trying to be nice and support them, that kind of thing, that sometimes isn't the most supportive thing that you could be doing. If she had said, someone come with me or something like that. That's a little different.
Mhm.
But I totally agree, Aman. For me, it made the moment much more powerful from a storytelling point of view, rather than just breaking right into, oh, what are we saying? And oh, okay, tell us, why are you crying? Like it,
Yeah.
I thought it was so much more powerful because Cornbread was able to separate herself, come back and go, whew, I thought I'd work through this and I'm realizing I haven't.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
that's completely legitimate.
I think there was something also about like sometimes you can definitely tell when a producer has asked the queens to discuss something. This felt a little bit
Yeah.
more organic. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
maybe Carrie was prompted, but like I don't necessarily think that was the case. I think it's something that's pretty common, that you would talk about, especially when you're
Yeah.
in something that's such an intense situation. You're spending
Yeah.
essentially 24 hours with these people. So I did feel that it was, authentic and again, like some people watch RuPaul's Drag Race, like, yeah, I just want to see fun and colors and blah, 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 whatever. But this is a time where Drag Race can, share stories. And
Crack
so
and
to
Yeah.
just take a
heal.
little bit of time, let's just do it. Let's learn, let's feel
Yeah.
emotion. And then we can get into the
Mhm.
14 times three,
Yeah.
like
Do the math,
so
girl, because
many
I don't know
42
what is it,
looks.
14 times
42.
42 looks. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. All
It's a
right.
moment.
It's a moment indeed. Oh, and then the Angie Lady Camden emotional moment,
Oh, yeah.
like them being like, a little into each other, which, because Beth, weren't you saying something about the accents, that it's
I
like the
think it was
Southern
Aman.
accent?
Aman
Oh,
Yeah,
said, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
starting to see this, like, really just pan out,
yeah.
like
right in front of you. It's
I was
so
like,
good.
"Damn, she is
Yeah.
just into that accent, honey, like, she will not let it go." Like
So funny.
Oh my gosh. All right. Okay, let's get into the main challenge. So the main challenge this week, the two fashion balls. So look, I love a good pair of balls joke, which is, I assume, the driving factor behind having two balls, but it was very confusing for me. Maybe I'm just too simple of a mind to handle. Essentially, three categories, but two balls. So that makes it six different category groupings. And then
Yeah.
there's seven queens within each grouping. And then I'm trying to compare one queen across the three looks in different categories, and then the
Yeah.
queens against each other. And the last one was wedding, which no one looked like they were going to a wedding. It was just like everything was just so overwhelming for me.
I was in a crowded bar. I had a couple of drinks. I could not tell you what the hell was going on
Yeah.
at all the entire time. I was asking my friend, I was like, "What?" Like, so because he would actually be paying more attention. I was like on my phone. He was like, I was like, "So what? Like, what's going on here?" He's like, "Oh, I think it's like a wedding theme, and like half of them are like going to like an American wedding, and then the other ones are having the wedding in the jungle." And then I was like, "Well, why is she wearing all white?" I was just
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck is going on?"
It was weird that they made the red, white, and blue ball that the white look was the evening look and it wasn't the
Yes.
wedding look. And I was just like, what are you doing? I
Yeah.
don't get
Okay.
There's
So
so much there. I also, in just terms of editing, I hate that they went back and forth with like the first category for one, the first category for the other ball, the second category. Just do one ball and then go
Yeah.
to the other ball because it makes it so hard.
Yeah.
I'm going,
One
wait,
ball
what
at
are
a
we
time,
on?
please.
Oh, it was bad.
Yes.
The amount of times I rewound too, because I was like, I just realized I just watched something and I have no idea what I'm watching. I need to go back.
I couldn't remember a single look in terms. So Puya walked in during Untucked when I was watching Untucked, because they're all in the wedding outfits, and I was like, guess what the theme was? Every single queen in this room, there is a unifying theme. He guessed America first, then he guessed Halloween, and then he guessed I don't know. So like,
Halloween is kind of shady.
Halloween is amazing.
it's the Halloween theme.
Because he's not wrong. And that's the best part. All of these could technically be really great Halloween looks.
Yeah, and I was like, it's wedding. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Wedding.
My favorite
It's like-
critique was when Michelle Visage goes, I'm not really getting wedding from this to Georges. And I'm like, and you got it from anybody else on the stage? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, just wild. So I did thank you to, there was a user on Reddit who put together all of the looks for again each ball by category. So if you're watching the video version on YouTube, and if you're watching or if you're listening to the audio version and you want to take a look at some of these looks, as we're not going to go through like every look in detail, but I think we can kind of generally talk about the themes, the categories, who we think did well within each grouping of 7. Again, this will be a little bit confusing, but the images will hopefully help with this. So go to, Rob has a podcast YouTube page, and you can check out the video for this. So we can start with, so there was the hide and chic ball, and then what was it called? The red, white, and blue ball or something? Yeah, red,
Yep.
white, and blue ball. Yeah. Okay. Again, hilarious. Love that. And the first category
Which I
was,
thought they already had a red, white, and blue ball on this show.
I think they did too. But
Well, we on season 14, okay?
I mean, there was definitely a blue ball because
Slim
that
pickings.
was they did a blue ball, right?
Mhm.
Multiple times, because I think they did one in All Stars, and then they did one in Jan's season, because like Jan had the double outfit like repeat thing. Doesn't make any sense. Whatever.
Yes.
She made that thing with the bubble skirt,
Mhm.
and then she wanted to like redo it, and then she was sad that she didn't make the top. Anyway. All right. So
the story of Jan.
I know, the classic story of Jan. Unfortunately, just swap out any one of the categories. it would match. But yeah, so the first one was the zebra print resort look. And again, so even though there was the hide and chic ball and the red, white, and blue ball, the first category was like some type of resort wear.
Mhm.
And then the next one was the gown or something, evening gown, and then wedding. So there was some sort of through line, but it was all over the place.
Ooh, and we have to remember too that the first 2 looks for each of the balls would have been things that the queens brought with them, and the
Yes.
last look is the thing that they constructed. Because I also was sitting back and being like, did they construct these outfits too? Which is probably shady of me to say. I don't know.
I saw a theory online that was, what if, do you remember, I think it was season 12 when they did the day and night runways as like the first episode. So they had queens do like what their daytime look and nighttime look was, but there was like one for each, because it was again a split premiere.
That was I guess it wasn't.
I think it was
10.
season 13 or season 12. Season 12.
Mhm.
Because I saw a theory that that they thought about maybe doing that, or maybe like that was going to be the idea. That it was like, the mini challenge. Okay, so this is from season 12. RuPaul announces the first mini challenge is to present 2 sets of runway looks, one for spring and one for fall, or something like that. So it could have been, I don't know, maybe.
And they did that in season 7.
Yeah, they did in season 7 as well. I don't know. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
So the first set of looks that we can talk about, hide and chic ball, category is zebra print resort. Of these 7 looks, what strikes you fancy?
Here's
go
the thing. I think that I definitely get resort wear from everybody except for Bosco. I don't know if I get resort wear. I think I just get like a high fashion, what you would see on a runway, but not necessarily something you'd see on a resort. I felt like June's looked maybe a little simple, and I wouldn't get like chic resort from it, but definitely I thought it was a cute outfit. Like I could see her hit the town with that and just be like the life of the party. I did think that Orion's, even though it was a Heather's concept, was very simple. I don't know.
I didn't get resort at all. This is why I'm like buying into the conspiracy theory that it was just they had a zebra print theme and then they like tried to maybe make it work. Orion's, I guess, because she's playing golf. But even Alyssa, she's got the snow goggles on.
She's at a ski resort.
She's got a whip.
No, she's or not a ski. I thought it was a ski resort at first. Sorry, she's a jockey.
Oh, Those are ski goggles, girl.
Those are ski goggles and not
that's a
jockey
puff
goggles.
on the top of her head. That's
Correct.
a snow hat.
There's a lot of different kinds of resorts going on in there. Equestrian skiing, it's gonna. Could you imagine that?
Equestrian skiing.
Those poor horses.
Wait,
what do they do? Like the horses skiing, or like
yeah? Could you?
But how many
horses
skis?
have 2 skis or 4? That's what I want.
It's like 2 snowboards. Yeah, that's like
it would have to be 4 skis because
4 separate skis
because they do opposite.
Oh, 4 little short skis. Yeah, like little
4 little short skis. Because you couldn't do the same one because they don't move like this. They move opposite. It's so stupid. Oh God.
Anyway,
I felt like cornbread was the one that looked the most resort. Like I'm at a resort, going out to dinner at one of the like restaurants that's here on the resort.
I feel like this looks like Black grandma at church. I don't know. Maybe some people consider their churches a resort of the spiritual kind. I don't know, but this is not. When she walked out, I was like, it looks fine, but I don't really know about this one, girl. I liked. I really liked Orion's stories. It was kind of simple, but I just, I like the fact that she went for like, oh, I'm on the golf course, like, I'm just here to have a good time. I'm hot. I'm really not actually golfing. I'm here for the Instagram moment. That's what that gave me, like rich white girl that's just out here, just for the photo op. Willow Pill. It's ugly. It's ugly. I don't know how she won this challenge. It's ugly. The clashing of patterns, the belt in the middle. What is going on here? I don't know how she won this challenge. Maybe I know nothing about fashion, and that's fine if I don't. It's still ugly. Like
I actually really like it. I just don't get if I understand that it's supposed to be 2 different colored zebra print or whatever, but if it's supposed to be zebra print resort, she's the only one that went for color, and you kind of I don't know. I just kind of felt like, okay, well, at least she played with it. Like, I could also see this being, white woman being like, this is definitely a white suburban middle class, like upper middle class woman who's just like, I brought the kids to Cancun to hope that they would like me a little bit better. Like, like that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from her.
Yeah, I'm not getting vacation.
But like, it's not like, but this is like what she would have worn to be like, I'm checking into the hotel, but not like actually on the resort. Does that make sense? But I still fair point. If you think it's like ugly and such, I don't know. When it came to resort, I just really felt like this whole theme, I really had to open my mind as to what resort could be.
What does it mean to be in the resort? That's where, Amon's definition of a spiritual resort. That's really that's where we're going with these. What does it mean to be a resort?
I just have to say, I hated the pink tights with Carrie's.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell Carrie Colby was thinking. I don't know where she got those, but she.
Here's the thing about Carrie. She's one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen on this show, first of all. And gorgeous drag queen. Secondly, I need to play a game with her for the rest of the season, which I found from TikTok, which is it fashion or is she just a pretty girl wearing something?
Oh, yeah.
And this to me is a pretty girl wearing something because there's nothing about that that tells me resort wear. The hat was interesting that it didn't have a top, whatever, but I don't know what she's doing with the colors. And I just remembered that, when she left, all I realized I was looking at was her face.
I think if I had to choose my clear winner out of this batch, I'm sort of like oscillating between June, because I actually like June's, and June does kind of give me like vacation, especially with the inclusion of the bag. It sort of gives me like the zebra sort of like shortened version of Shea Coulee's entrance look into All Stars 5. Like I'm back. Like that's sort of what it's giving me. And then even though there is a bit of a mix up between the goggles here and Alyssa, those are the only 2. And I guess you can kind of throw Orion in there a little bit too. Those are like the ones that are kind of like I would have chosen myself. The other ones are kind of just like, I don't know what's going on here.
I really like Orion's. Like now looking at them all side by side, I'm like, maybe it's just because I'd wear that. So it's, like conflating the 2. But I'm like, yeah, that's cute. And I got the story and I do get resort. So
yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about the next category. So again, we're going to stay with the hide and chic ball. So we're still talking animal print, but we're going to move on to the leopard evening wear category. And again, so Willow didn't mention Willow wins this challenge, not to bury the lead, but I just did. It's fine. Willow also goes for an unconventional color choice when it comes to the animal print here as well. So I think that if, trying to put my head put my head in Willow's, that's not a thing, but it's
Ooh.
fine. She wanted to stand out, right? And so she's thinking, okay, what are the things that I can do to stand out? And playing with the color, although it's the same pattern, I think is a way that she chose to go about that, because she has the black on black leopard print here, which none of the other queens do, because unless
Carrie
I couldn't
does
tell.
the purple, but that's the closest that you get to a different color then.
Right, because Cornbread just had that velvet, but it wasn't like leopard print.
Yeah,
right?
it was supposed to be like the sheer kind of nude color underneath to give you that impression of the leopard, but
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so then Beth, what of these stands out to you for a good or bad reason?
I hate to say it again. I'm not a big fan of Carrie's look here. I hated that she just kept spinning the hat. Like, just do it once if you think that like if the whole gag of your outfit is look at my hat spin, then that's telling you to be distracted from the rest of the look. I don't know. I don't like Bosco's. I hate the small and large leopard print together. I do love Alyssa's. And I liked Willow's. Orion, I was happy for a little bit of like camp to it, but that's about it.
I think, is Bosco wearing the same? No, just similar corsets. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I liked Willow's what she was going for. I think that the fit was a little weird for me from what I can remember. I remember seeing like where the slits were on the dress, and it sort of like made her look shorter than she is. So I didn't really just like the fit, but I liked the look of the dress. I think I liked Carrie's the best because of the purple and because of the spinny thing. So I guess I just got it. That was fascinated by the fascinator.
Art is subjective.
Yeah, June. Yeah, unfortunately, there was just too much fabric, and it's not even the worst thing wasn't even the tripping part. It was just I couldn't see the shape. It was just nothing but it was like you're wearing a sheet. Like, what's going on? And I like Orion's here. I don't know why they had such an issue with this. I think all the dimensions of it, like taking out her tit, like everything just worked for me. I thought that was sort of like the most interesting look.
Yeah. I would have gotten rid of the head thing. I don't think you really need the skull in the hair. That doesn't really say anything to me. Especially if you're going to pull out your tit.
Only one element of camp.
Come on.
Tit or
so I did
skull.
kind of agree with the judges, but it wasn't enough for me to be like, she should be in the bottom.
Yeah.
I think Alyssa looks gorgeous. I do agree with some of the June critiques that it kind of swallows her. The hair critique, it doesn't look like it's your hair. Mama.
Let me tell you about wearing wigs.
I guess I could understand the critique is that it feels like it doesn't fit you, right? Like it feels like I can understand sort of the subtext of that, but I didn't get that. And the Queens and Untucked also like didn't feel that way. So
I didn't get it either. I mean, nobody's wearing their hair. So
I have a question. Did they think that Cornbread looked like she was wearing her hair?
Right.
Did they think that, Alyssa looked like she was wearing her hair? Bosco? I mean,
maybe they just didn't like it with the dress.
Maybe.
Just say that then.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing.
I'm not a big fan of Cornbreads. At first, I thought I liked it when I first saw her, because I was like, oh, I really like the silhouette. But then the more I looked at it, I was like, no, I don't really like those buckles, and I don't really like the collar. There was more and more to it that like wasn't necessarily my vibe.
I just feel like it's sort of like indistinct. Like I don't really know where the top meets like it just looks weird to me. Like I can't really make heads or tails of like what's going on in her bosom area. Like it's like a pell here, and then like the inside is more leopard or zebra, whatever the hell, leopard. And it's just I don't know. It's just not.
Yeah, it's a choice. Okay, well, let's close things out with the hide and
Oh
chic
God.
ball. Category is animal print bridal couture, which can't you tell? All these ladies definitely look like they're going to a wedding.
RuPaul's
Yeah,
Drag Race.
I'm starting to think that you might have been right, Liana, that this was not meant to be what they're telling us it should have been originally. Because what is going on here?
No, these are the ones
Why
that they
not
made,
why
though.
not make it bridesmaid dress? Then you could have
Mm.
so much more fun. I don't understand the need to. Is it because you have to be the star of the wedding? No, like if you're going to do something so unconventional for a wedding theme, you might as well just make it bridesmaid.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, all right, look, obviously, like I'm looking at it from a lens where I have been taught by the bridal industry that brides wear white and they do that, right? So, there's any one of these ladies could get married in these dresses and that is a wedding dress, right? Okay.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
like, let me just say that from the onset.
Hmm.
But it did make the viewing of it as, because as a viewer, I want to be able to judge alongside, right? That's kind of the fun part of it. I want to know who I feel is doing well and who I feel is not succeeding. And it just made it really difficult. Maybe it was because of the way that the ball was edited together.
Mm.
But then to have this be sort of this, the bridal couture, I didn't really have a sense of how to judge the looks. And so I think that
Hmm.
that also made it a little bit extra confusing.
Yeah.
Once again, I don't know how Willow won this challenge. Like, what is that?
I
That's
love
not.
Willow's the
It's
most.
pants,
But
right?
I love it the
they're
most.
pants.
Yeah.
And I mean, once again, like Liana, you're right. You can wear whatever you want to your wedding. Like my parents got married in a freaking reptile room at the zoo in pedestrian clothing, okay, with just the two of them, me and my twin sister, and a pastor. No glitz and glam, none of that. So I have been to an unconventional wedding, okay, but for a drag competition, I just feel like there has to be some level of zhuzh if you're going to go for like a wedding look, and I just feel like this doesn't scream to me wedding. None of them really do. So I guess out of all of them, if we're just going to cut the wedding thing out and just judge the looks on
Mhm.
their own for the craftiness, I still don't think Willow's is the best. I would probably go for either Alyssa or
Mhm.
Orion before I went for her. I just I don't get it. I
I
really don't
think
get it.
that first of all, when you're talking about a craft kind of thing, pants is like one of the hardest things to make. It's really easy to make a skirt. And so from a craftsmanship, I'm sitting here like, wow, like that's incredible to make a jumpsuit that fits you super well, that has I think it's super well made. I love what she did from head to toe with the look. I think it looks really great. My least favorite is 100% cornbreads. I hate that dress.
Yeah.
I did love that she kept going with her
Yeah,
tongue
the
on the.
snake.
I was like, no, stop, but keep going. I love her for that. I just felt like it was the most polished from head to toe, besides maybe Alyssa's, because I agree. I think Alyssa looked really good. Um, and I out of the most quote unquote bridal one, I weirdly think is Bosco's.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's because it has white in it or not, but or if it's the way that she served it on the runway. But I didn't get bride at all from June, Carrie, Cornbread, or Orion. I got like the Jersey aunt that comes to the wedding from Orion, and I loved that. Like that's why I felt like if it was just like wedding guest theme or something like that, that
Yeah.
this could have been really fun. Um, but yeah, when you take the bridal portion out and you look at the construction of this, there's just clear tops and clear bottoms, and that's just about it.
I don't know how you can look at Orion's and say that it's too busy. Is
I
it like
agree.
because the gloves are studded? But then it's just the gloves because
She
the
made a comment about like the little loops coming off of the bra piece, and I was like, that
yeah.
looks good. She's like, it
Yeah.
feels like your
Yeah.
arms. I was like, why would her arms go through those? What are you talking about?
It
Yeah.
was stupid.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're gonna say that Orion looks too busy when Carrie's sitting there with everything on her neck and her head, and like she
She's
has two
wearing the
different.
forest.
I'm just like she's wearing everything, and yet Orion's the one that's getting that
She is Tarzan and Jane. Like, like what is going on
critique.
here? You know?
Yeah, I look. I think some of the queens just to try to hit the bridal theme carried the flowers, which did help somehow. That's like,
The
I'm
way
like,
you
okay.
stuttered with that helped.
But it was so weird that June didn't put them down at all. I kept
Yeah.
waiting for her to, throw them off to the side or whatever the case may be. She just held them there, and it was weird because I felt like when she moved it away, it's not like there's a gaping hole that she,
Right.
something trying to hide. So I definitely thought that was an odd choice. But I think it was the confidence thing that she just didn't
Yeah.
feel confident in the gown, and so she didn't present it on the runway in a way that did the garment justice.
I feel like if anything, it was the confidence, and I feel like if she had not done that, there's a world in which maybe she just ends up in the bottom and not, or ends up safe but not in the bottom. So if she had just presented that more, because some of these looks are just not good. Yours is not the only one that's not good. So I feel like if you had just given it your all when you walked out of there and stopped hiding behind those fronds, then maybe, just maybe, you could have skated
it's
through.
not only just this look, like every runway look that she had for this, there was just an absolute shakeable confidence about her. She's tripping over her, her second runway look. The first time she literally looked like, which way do I go on the runway? And there's just little moments like that I think you have to fake it till you make it a little bit stronger in this competition, because the judges do react to it.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we picked up on right away.
Yeah.
Was a little bit of this lack of confidence. And I think she talks about it when she gets eliminated. It's like, I've got more cooking to do. I'm like, yes, I think she has such a fabulous personality that once she gets the confidence and some more of those skills, I think she could come back and be fantastic.
I will say, I thought it was just like, because she's so soft-spoken like this, that when she was like, Orion, I am not happy that you're here. I was like, oh, that stings a little bit more with your soft stuff. But I will say that I am happy that you're here, but I'm not happy that you're here. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah. Soft spoken, but still so spicy.
Loved it.
Okay. Let's jump into the red, white, and blue ball. Again, the category is resort. This is a red hot resort. So all of the looks had to be red. I guess I got more resort from this group than I did for the first group, but still, like,
half of them definitely didn't get resort though.
Yeah, like Betty's look. I guess she's like a kid at the resort, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. George's is not resort really at all.
She went out to the club on the resort.
Yeah, exactly. That's the nighttime
or the
resort
casino and was like, serve me drinks.
Yeah.
Maddie
was giving resort, but it just looked too pedestrian. It didn't look elevated enough.
Maddie's issue comes down to she suffers from straight boyitis. That Maddie cannot look any more straight than when she's walking on on the runway.
Yeah, the walk
that is
not
a straight
there.
man underneath those clothes.
They really should have. She needs to practice her walk.
We need Miss J to come from
America's
Next Top Model and be like.
And then when she tried to shake her ass, like, and I know that she was doing it ironically. I know that she was. It just wasn't ironic, honey. It just wasn't ironic.
I conveniently blocked that out of my mind.
Her ass was so still that even the pants barely
move.
Even the fabric wasn't moving. The fabric was like, I will not move in protest because what are you doing?
It was so bad because it wasn't like it was just her butt moving. It was like, let me just move my whole body from side to side. Oh God, Maddie.
Oh, it was cute. She was trying.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was.
I do love the paint on the face though.
Yes. Although I will say she is a little repetitive a little bit with the paint for her eyes, but like that's fine. Whatever. There's plenty of queens that paint the same way. So who am I?
Like Trixie.
I just feel like both her ass cheeks were like that moment in the season 10 reunion when the Vixen and Eureka are like trying to offer each other the first chance.
Oh yeah, when they're like,
I love that moving.
That's actually a really great visual.
Oh my god, yeah.
But Jasmine looks great. I think that she's definitely giving resort. The hair, the little bonnet thing, the sunglasses, the bra, everything is. I see the vision.
Mhm.
I guess Lady Camden is sort of giving a little bit of that too.
I think Lady Camden and Jasmine for me were the top two for this particular category in terms
Yeah.
of fitting the category.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Angeria, I mean, she looks great, but like, is it a resort or are you just like,
No.
I mean, I guess it's a little bit summery. Like, she could be at
It's
some place in the
flowy.
60s with, I don't know.
I liked Deja's look for like the maxi dress, like kind of. I could just imagine her dramatically opening like a beautiful window to look at the ocean in that dress. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'm now gonna lay on the shay and have someone come over and feed me grapes. Like, I can see that for her, and I'm like, all right, I
Yeah.
get you. I just didn't like the color of the hair with the red.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, it was a little distracting, especially if, that's supposed to be the highlight. Again, I think Georges is throughout. I will say, I think if we talk about the next category, which is the evening wear, why it gotta be white. I loved this white dress from Georges. But that combined within the last look, I was like, I don't quite understand why you were
Yeah.
in the top necessarily.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that pretty privilege is skating her through, and I
Mhm.
don't want to. I mean, it's not her fault what she looks like, but I'm just like, all right, now let's come on now, let's come in because RuPaul was living for her during her lip sync in the first episode. Now he lived for all of the looks and complimented her so much on like her silhouette. And I'm like, her silhouette, like, I mean, I don't know. It's just a little.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye on it. Even though I drafted her, but I just don't want people to just be skating through just because
Resting
the
on
bitch is
pretty.
21 and she looks great and she's as thin as a rail. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look, Maddie's. I was watching. A friend of mine came over. We were watching together, and my friend was like, "She looks like those wizard hats," and I was like, "I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like these
the
little wizard hats."
Fantasia Mickey Mouse
Yeah,
hat.
Oh
exactly.
my
So, so I love the idea. Like, I love the concept of wanting to go for something like this with the headpiece and the way that the bodysuit is constructed. But yeah, I did kind of agree with the judges there. There was just missing something.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like
structure.
her
Well,
figure
no.
kind of gets swallowed up with the cape in the back, especially in this picture. You can really, it just looks like a thin rail.
Mhm.
And I think an evening wear, I don't know, maybe. I mean, I
Could
guess
you imagine
It's got
a
the
bitch showing up to a fancy restaurant wearing fucking that? I would live. I would be sitting there like, yes, you better work. That's
there's
so
a
fucking ugly. I'm here
moon.
for
I
it.
mean, the
It's
moon and the stars
nighttime.
definitely. She's it's definitely it's campy. So I'll give her that. It is great.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think there's like a little bit of zhuzh that it just needs a little zhuzh.
Yeah.
I think Angeria looks absolutely stunning here.
Interior should have won this challenge, hands down. Like I'm not as like bad on Willow as Amon is, but Ingeria for me was the clear standout for both this and her final look. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
I hated the bow thing on Lady Camden. Like the fact that it bounced like this as she went up and down the runway. I was like, no, if it stayed put, maybe I could get behind it. And it's really that lower bit that just kind of sticks out. It just looks like it's supposed to go somewhere and it doesn't.
I didn't know that it was a bow until she said so. I thought it was just like loose fabric. I feel like I would have enjoyed if that spiral that starts at the top of her head just continuously spiraled all the way down. Like leave the bow out of it, just like have that geometric spiral thing all the way down your body, like around your leg as well. I feel like that would have been really cool.
I think she did that for the last look too, which
Yeah, she did.
again would have you kind of lose it. You lose the spiral at the bottom because I think it does come down if I'm looking at the
It
picture
pops
correctly.
out underneath the bow and then just waves like
I
this.
see.
And that's
Okay.
what drove me crazy. If it had tucked in somewhere and didn't move, I would have been fine with it. But I other than that, the whole outfit I thought was really cool. I just couldn't take my eyes off the fact that there's like a pointed part of the spiral just going as she walked. And I was like, oh gosh.
Jasmine,
She's going ice skating.
yeah. Yeah, definitely Denali would be proud.
Yeah, could be at
Um,
night. So technically, still could count as evening wear.
Diet Betty is the drag version of Cece Babcock from The Nanny, going out on the town.
Yeah. Deja's, it was nice to see her in, like a pantsuit, I think is what
Mhm.
it was.
Mhm.
So a little
I
bit
thought
of
it looked good on her.
a different look. Yeah, I thought it looked good. But not like, oh my God, wow, amazing.
Yeah.
But like I think she still
mhm,
looks stunning. So
mhm.
okay, let's close things out with the final red, white, and blue bridal couture look. So these are the looks that the queens crafted from the resources that they had.
Emphasis on crafted.
Okay, this is what I'm going to say about Georges. I thought they were going to read her to filth for this look. And
Mhm.
when she was in the top and they were giving her all of the super positive critiques, I was like, "Wait, did I miss something?"
No,
I just
you
Okay.
did.
Okay. All right, thank you.
No, this is pretty girl privilege here. I think Jasmine's is one of the ugliest dresses I've ever seen in my life. Um, I appreciate Deja's. I think Daya went for the bridesmaid, which I think should have been the category anyway, and it just came off as a little bit more clown to me
Mm,
than bridesmaid. Lady Camden, I didn't like the material because that is too busy for me. Everything that Lady Camden has going on. Maddie's was ill-fitting, blah blah blah. Angeria was clearly the only one who, in my opinion, did well in the
Angeria looks like freaking Jada Essence Hall in the promo material for
yeah,
season 12.
and
It's
she
like
made
that's
it.
all I was getting the entire time. It just like if the dress were blue and she had on red hair, it'd be like just carbon copy of Jada Essence Hall.
mm.
But it looks
Uh,
good.
Yeah, I think Angeria's was the one I was like, oh yeah, that's really gorgeous. I think actually Lady Camden, the dress to me doesn't bother me because I feel like there's sort of the two layers where there's the stars on
Yeah.
top and then sort of the like faded stars behind. But it
Mhm.
was the spiral thing. I was
Yeah.
like, if I could like rip that off and then I could just sort of focus on the cool layered patterns of the stars, I think that would be good. Daya's was benefited by the fact that we got to see an unfinished version in the workroom. So it looked
Mhm.
much better on the runway compared to what I had seen before. So I was like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, that's much better. Deja's, I think, gorgeous. I think she does look really pretty. I'm not sure what the sash thing. The picture that we
Yeah,
have
it's
is
a
not
little
like doing the full thing
distracting.
justice, but
Also,
yeah,
this screenshot of her face makes it seem like I don't want to get
yeah,
married.
please don't runaway bride, please. And then, oh, Maddie, Kurt, what was it that Willow said? It's giving Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, definitely. And RuPaul was like, I love the base of this dress. I was like, what base? That there's nothing that there's
The
just a dress.
fumigation tent pattern.
Like,
The tent pattern where you buy fireworks a week before
Hello, or
4th of
4th
July
of July.
in
Yeah.
a grocery store parking lot in New York State because they're illegal.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
Maddie was the only one to have made all of her looks too. Like, so this was the true craft competition for her.
I
I
have tea on her, by the way. So continue on, and then I'll get to that.
Ooh.
Okay. I will commend her for being because I think some of these other queens had some of those looks made for them. So I'll commend her for that. But if this is what we're going to be getting the entire season, she is going to get murdered on that runway because if
Mm.
it's clear that you don't have like super chops. You have some chops because like I can't make shit. So let's
Mhm.
start there. But if you're gonna be putting that up against some of these people that are getting all of these designers, like her runways are going to be continuously underwhelming. And I'm kind of like, that's not really good. Because
Yeah.
if she's in the bottom again, she's going to get sent home because the runway is just not going to be able to save her.
And especially in a challenge like this where everybody's making something. So if you can't stand out when you're like the person who's making it, that's bad.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it definitely makes me a little bit nervous. I mean, she tried to compensate with the story, which I did think was really cute, but at a certain point, that's not gonna do it,
Yeah.
you know? Okay, T now.
Okay. So apparently the Antoinette look from last
Mhm.
week was stolen from another drag queen. And when the drag queen asked for credit, because it's like the exact same dress, exact same thing, um, like like Maddie blocked her and all that kind of stuff.
Wait, what?
So this person's like, yeah, so this is what I did in a pageant. And this is what in this year or whatever, it was like a few years ago. And this is what Maddie presented on the main stage of RuPaul's Drag Race.
And it was like the
Okay.
exact same dress.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the thing. Look, the head cut off concept is not new.
No,
Okay.
Lady Gaga did it in like 2009 or something like
Mhm.
that.
But if it's the same dress,
It's the same dress. That's the issue.
wow. Oh my
So-
God, Maddie's messy. Okay.
So there's just a little bit of tea there. I saw all of that on TikTok, so it very well could be absolutely false. But I just thought I should share it because I was like, "Ooh, messy Maddie."
Yeah.
Maddie
okay.
Messes.
Yeah, speaking of new names, we've got diabetical, Maddie
Diabetical
messiness.
is my favorite. I thought cornbread was just like giving her a nickname. And
So did
I
I.
loved
because
it.
that's
Me
because that's
too.
because in Tyler Perry's plays, he's always saying, like, whenever a character has diabetes, they're always like, yeah, I'm a diabetical. So I thought that I thought that she was literally saying that because she was just trying to like make a Tyler Perry reference. But no, she literally thought that her name was diabetical.
My favorite part is that whole segment. Cornbread sitting there. She goes, "What's her name?" Oh, I've been saying that. I've been yelling diabetical at her all day.
Diabetical.
It's hilarious because she calls her diabetical during the whole bug thing,
Yeah.
where she, like, I will pay you $1,000 to eat this bug.
That was clearly a
Diabetical.
dead one too.
Oh, it was dead. Yeah, for sure
Ugh.
dead. Because Willow saw it flying around earlier, but now it is no longer with us.
Wow.
But I thought it was Daya's line that I eat ass. I can eat a bug.
Yeah. It's
I
always
mean,
one
I
of my
don't know if I
favorite
could do it for $1,000. Ugh.
Oh, I do
Ugh.
it. $1,000. Yeah, you best
$1,000?
believe. I'd
I'll
eat like
do
10
it.
bugs. Yeah, no problem.
Want to just pay for lunch?
I don't see an issue. Protein, let's go. All right. Well, so after all of the looks, we end up with June versus Maddie in the bottom two, and they are lip syncing to Kylie Minogue. What was this song? I Love It. Yeah,
Yeah.
I Love
Yeah.
It by Kylie Minogue, and Maddie ends up winning here. I feel like June took her shoes off. She had a little bit of messiness with the outfit.
Mm.
I just wonder
You
if
could see the wig underneath the other wig.
Yep.
So it wasn't a reveal.
Yeah. I just wonder if it's kind of one of those things where if Drag Race feels like they've seen everything from June,
Mm-hmm.
well, but like putting her out of her misery a little bit. I don't know.
/ oh, we can't let the first straight queen ever go
Be the
as
first queen
one.
eliminated, like officially eliminated.
That's like,
Yeah.
That's what the producers. I actually do think that Maddie did a way better job lip syncing, but
she
she's
beat her.
not that good.
Exactly. It was like you had not so good next to not so great. So
Yeah.
it's just like
I made the joke. I was like, "What's the straightest song you can think of?" Like that's gonna be the lip
Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba.
I just feel like like Maddie is not. She's not really a dancer, and I felt like, and this just could be like editing, or it could just be like me just projecting onto RuPaul. But it felt like when there were some moments when Maddie would like shake her boobs or shake her ass, you would see RuPaul laughing. I'm like, are you laughing because this is a straight guy doing it? You know that they're straight, and you're like, this is funny. Because if any of the other queens would do something like that, you'd be like, oh yeah, yes, work, bitch. So I'm like,
RuPaul
is she
also
gonna
went.
be able to? Go ahead.
Continue.
I was just gonna say, is she gonna be able to skate by one more time on a lip sync because she tries to shake her non-existent ass again, and RuPaul is just so tickled by it that he saves her? I'm just like, okay.
It's the gag.
It's also RuPaul goes, her shoes. When she took off her shoes. What was
hilarious
RuPaul on? That was not coffee. That was drugs. That was drugs.
The coffee enema is kicking in that we heard over and over and over. The coffee enema. The coffee
I didn't even know that was
enema.
a thing.
It's not. That's the thing.
I looked it up and people do it.
Why?
Yes.
Should we try it? Okay, next week's podcast, we're all gonna try coffee enemas.
Apparently,
Liana
it's
does not speak for me.
It's to get rid of toxins. I don't know. But I thought it was hilarious when Maddie Morphosis was like tripping over June's shit, and she was like, this dress put her in the bottom, and now it's going to take me out
Take
as
me
well.
out.
Yeah, I love that. That was so funny.
It was a good line.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we lose June, which does mean that Amon has officially lost his first player. So you have Cornbread, Maddie Messiness, and Georges left.
Mhm.
And Beth, you got Daya back, and Orion is also back for the audience. So we shall see what happens next week, because we have the queens are going to be recording tension grabbing super teasers. So it seems like teasers for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So an acting improv challenge, I guess, is what it's
Yep.
probably
I
going to
think
be.
this is going to be similar to when they had to redo
The Untucked.
talked
Classic
stuff.
scenes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that challenge. I'm glad they're
Me
doing
too.
this. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think so
Mhm.
too.
Yeah. So we shall see what happens next week. Anything else y'all want to talk about before we get out of here?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's it.
Well, that does it for us for this episode. Be sure to catch us next week. Beth, what do you have going on? Where can people find you on social media?
You can find me at AugustaWind11 on all my social media, including my Twitch channel. And I'm a part of a charity event that's happening today. So I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's many days after this. So if you're interested in supporting Black Girl Film School, please pop by over to my Twitter or my Twitch to make a donation to our Tiltify. But yeah, still doing my weekly meltdown and hot mess moments.
All right. And Aman, what about you? What are you up to? Where can people find you on social media?
You can find me everywhere, darling. I own everything. No. You can follow me at Amon Adwin on all platforms. Check out the Choir Room, finishing up their High School Musical coverage. I'm still covering Euphoria. It's a heavy ass season, y'all. So come get some therapy with me and Grace like every Monday. And yeah, that's it.
All right. And you can find me testing out coffee enemas on Twitter at Liana RHAP. Please leave your star ratings and reviews for us on iTunes. They're super, super helpful. They help give the podcast visibility and let others join in on the classic debates. Like, if a horse were to ski, is it 2 skis or 4 skis?
That was not what I thought we'd have to talk about today, but
Here
I
we
will
are.
be pondering that all day long.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of promoting the shows, let me put you on to another fabulous podcast here at the RHAP community on reality TV wrap ups, and that is the Married at First Sight podcast. Asia Welsh is the host, and she is joined this season by Jason Reed to discuss each episode weekly with humor and a healthy dose of skepticism. They're talking about season 14, which takes place in Boston. This is, again, the Married at First Sight wrap up. And there's drama, there's comedy, love, and everything in between. Whether you watch the show or not, Asia and Jason will hold your hand through it all with amazing guests along the way. So you can find their podcast along with ours available in the Reality TV Wrap-Ups pod feed, or you can subscribe to them specifically at robhasawebsite.com/MAFS. So Married at First Sight, MAFS feed. Thank you to Scott St. Pierre for all your help behind the scenes, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.